Good day and welcome to another Monday segment of A Week at the Plot. And yes, I've been strimming. My battery ran out. I only brought one down. Richard used the strimmer in the garden the other day, so he used up a battery in the garden and I didn't put it on to charge, so I only had one fully charged battery. And I've done most of the site, most of the plot. Certainly couldn't do the site in one charge. I've done most of the plot and at least I've strimmed it to a certain level. This side here by the shed, I really need to get onto. You know what? There's a lot of things I need to get onto, but I'm not going to just build up my list in my head. I've got my list and I'm going to work through it. I wanted to get the grass trimmed today because hopefully I'll have time tomorrow to rake it up. I don't have time today. I came down thinking I had again a couple of hours after doing a lot of work at my desk this morning and early afternoon, and I got down here and I got a call that I had to take. It was one of those calls I couldn't put off, so I took that call. It took 45 minutes, so my time here today has been compacted. I have the choice of either doing the strimming or doing the bed that I started doing yesterday that had the mange tout and the broad beans in it. And I decided, looking at the weather, which seems to be okay over the next day or so, but I decided that it was best for me to strim, rake all of that up today if I have time, or tomorrow, and then that will give the opportunity for the grass to become erect again and upright again, and then maybe I can give it another strim later on in the week, though we are due rain at some point on Friday and potentially Thursday as well. So the rain is not going to particularly affect the mange tout and the broad bean bed, so I will get onto that when I can get onto that, hopefully tomorrow or Wednesday. Fingers crossed. What I have noticed today is, of course, before I strim, I do my finger thing where I put my fingers down in the areas that I'm about to strim. And you may remember when I strimmed a month or so ago, I think it may have even been longer than that, that I said there were no frogs, no froglets, no toads, nothing like that. And we had seen our grass snake around quite a bit. And of course, grass snakes, they are quite, they're quite fancy frogs, let's say. Not fancy them in that way, fancy them in eating them. They like frogs' legs. So, yeah. In my putting my finger down today, there are an awful lot more frogs in there. And that took me about half an hour to go around and just move about 20 frogs, something like that. And yeah, so I don't think that grass snake is around at the moment, because I think if the grass snake was around, those frogs wouldn't be around. So yeah, it's interesting. When we had the working party the other day and I was actually down by the river, I was on somebody's plot and there was a huge amount of froglets on the plot. But here, as I said, last time there was absolutely none. This time there's quite a few. And as I say, I haven't seen the grass snake. So I think that is a reason why they are here. One other thing I've noticed, which is slightly frustrating, is with our carrots, with that second sowing of carrots, that late sowing of carrots that I did. Let me just show you. You may remember this was our tomato bed by the polytunnel, and because of blight we sowed a late sowing of autumn king carrots and also Nantes. What I've noticed is that all of the Nantes along this side have been munched on. Well, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe about 10. The autumn king, which are here and here, These have been munched here. And those over there, which are Nantes, have been munched as well. But isn't that interesting? I was wondering whether the wind has been sweeping the cucumbers across and they've been snagging on them, but I don't think that is the case. I think they have actually been munched on. So I'm hoping that the strimming will reduce the munching. I mean, certainly with that strimmed, if any slugs want to come out, they've got nicely fresh trimmed grass to eat rather than my Nantes carrots. But you know what? I've still got time to do another sowing, so I think I may do that. And in fact, I'm thinking of something else in the polytunnel. The tomatoes aren't really taking in the polytunnel. And I still got some cucumbers in there, but they're not really forming. The ones out here are beginning to form, but not in the polytunnel. So I'm pondering taking things out in there and putting a sowing of autumn king carrots in there, which will definitely see us well into winter if they do germinate and produce. So anyway, I'm going to think about that. Lots of tidying to do. You can see over there I was strimming by the decrepit shed, and then the battery gave way, so I wasn't able to continue doing elsewhere. But you know what? That will wait for another day. Right, I will leave it there and ponder overnight or the next couple of days carrots in the polytunnel. Bye. Good day. As you can see, this bed isn't done yet. I think I've done something to my hand, my left hand particularly, which has weakened it a bit and made it sore. So I don't really have the dexterity at the moment to use a large fork on this bed. So I'm leaving it for another day. But what I have done today is in this area here, nearest us, not in the other side of the bed, is a sowing of Purple Top Milan Turnips. I put 5 rows in there. Quite a quick growing crop, and a crop that shouldn't mind the type of weather that we're having at the moment. In fact, it should quite enjoy it. But the weather we are having, which is quite windy and it has been quite dry, means that there's a lot of watering to do. These are the brassicas I put in last week. Some of them I can see have actually taken, and some will have to wait and see. But yeah, because it's so dry, I'm having to go around and water everywhere. These are lettuce that we put in about 3 weeks ago, and our Tarbay and Canadian white bean tower there. That needs a lot of water. What I have noticed, I don't think we can see from this angle. Let's just go round, minding the bees on the lavender. We have a butternut squash forming. That's about 5 inches long at the moment. That's the only one that I can see in here. But you know what? One is better than nothing. Right. I'm going to leave it there for today. A quick visit today. I do need to do a bit of harvesting, so I think I'm going to harvest some of these carrots, and maybe you'll see that tomorrow. We'll leave it there. Bye. Good day. As you can see, a bit of harvesting going on today. Potatoes, really decent size. These are the Colleen still. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like that, maybe a little bit bigger. Really good harvest of carrots. These are the Lunar White. These are the Nantes, London Market here and here. Beetroot. Which ones are those? I think they're Chioggia. Quite small, but they'll do. Golden Gate beans and Madeira Maroon beans. So those are ones that we're eating as a pod rather than as a dried bean. Though certainly the Madeira Maroon we also eat as a podded dried bean for the winter for soups and stews. So yeah, pretty happy with that harvest today. I'm noticing that, well, I was going to say the Lunar Whites aren't quite as big as the rest of the carrots, but you know what? I think I've harvested the biggest of those already. So maybe I'm just being a bit unfair. But yeah, nice harvest today. Not quite sure what we're going to make these into, but whatever it is as supper today and tomorrow, it will be lovely, I am sure. Right, I will leave it there now, and I will see you again very soon. Bye. Good day. We're at Watlington Hill, near Aston Rowant and Cowley's Wood. Not been here before. A lot of activity with Chinook helicopters in the area. But look at this. Well, this is Richard standing in the view now. But look at that view. You can see this is a hill and those are plains. Somewhere over there. Oh no, it's a different helicopter. Can you see that one there? It's not a Chinook, obviously. But yeah, this is completely new to us, not been here before, which is incredible considering it's only another 5 minutes from Cowley's Wood. I think this is going to become another favourite of ours. Bye. Good day. Just looking at this self-seeded amaranth here, which as you can see is flowering. You see its tuftiness. And then this is another type that we were given as a tree spinach, but again it's an amaranth. I love those really vibrant bracts on there, just gorgeous. Gorgeous. Are they bracts? Are they like poinsettia? I'm not sure. We'll know later if the flowers come up differently. And I put some turnips in the other day, and can you see some germination there, which is great. A little bit over there. So those have or are beginning to germinate. Oh yes, I can see some more over here as well. But little foxy, not sure which one, but one has been scruffing that bit up. Got some bindweed amidst these brassicas, which needs to come out. In fact, that bed needs to be weeded, so I'll get on and do that. I haven't been down for a couple of days. Last time I was down here was Wednesday, and it's now Saturday. Look at that huge slug on the brassicas. If you're going to have a slug, have a slug. That's what I say. So I think this is the problem this year. Look, baby snails. Can you see? That's been what's got our brassicas or our Brussels sprouts this year. You can see the leaves. It's baby snails. I've been noticing them for quite a few weeks. Look, there's another one. Can you see that one there? Is that focusing? Oh, there's a big snail there. I'm going to move him or her. And what I'm going to start doing is taking the lower leaves off these, because if we come in here, you can see the Brussels sprouts beginning to form here. But there's another snail in there with the slug. There's now a snail on that slug. Look. Yeah. Interestingly, we use that spray grazers which is apparently a deterrent for cabbage whites. And certainly we've had less cabbage white damage this year, but more slug and snail damage. There is a grazers for slugs and snails, so maybe we should get that. Gosh, look at that leaf, that big leaf over there. I think this is the largest one we've got. Largest squash I think we've got is the Oregon Homestead Sweetmeat. I think that's one there. And that's one over there. I need to feed this bed. I've got a feeling they all need more feed. But look, you can see they're dying back. Those Uchiki Curry, which are the orange ones, they're not going to get that much bigger. You know, size of my hand. Oh, that one's come off. Look. I'm going to take that one. What I do want to have a look at is to see if any of those broad beans that we put in by the sunflower, the allelopathic sunflower, have germinated. I think with bigger seeds. Oh my, yes, look. I mean, clearly there. So I think mind you, if we go over there, do you remember we sowed them 6 inches, 12 inches, 18 inches and 2 foot away? One that we sowed here hasn't germinated, but this one has here, this one over here, here. So maybe with seeds like broad beans, which are bigger seeds, maybe the allelopathic inhibitor isn't quite as strong. Oh, that's grown a bit. What's that? That's about 7 foot. No. If I stand here, I think that's, yeah, it's about maybe 6.5 foot that at the moment. Oh, look at those roses over there. I mean, everything is, look, oh, yeah, but look. Right. Now all of the, what are they, Autumn King have been munched on. So, yeah. This is another reason I like doing carrots and parsnips in high beds, because actually those have all been munched on. But you know what? That now makes me think about what I've decided to do in there, which is, with the weather that we're having and the weather we're due to have, I'm going to pull the plants in the polytunnel tomorrow. We'll have a look at that tomorrow, and sow some more carrots in there, because you remember how well these germinated, and certainly some are still there, as you can see here and here. But yeah, they've largely been got by slugs or snails. That's fine. I brought our Portuguese cabbage out maybe at the beginning of the week. You can see true leaves beginning here. Can you see that true leaf there? So that's great to see that they're growing. I think we've got about 20 in there, 24 in there, which is what I wanted, because I want at least 12 myself and then to give others away. And then coming around here, this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to harvest some more potatoes for supper this evening. So I'm going to leave it there. There's a plane coming over, which will... Oh, that's fallen down, look. Yeah, there's a plane coming over, so I'm just going to leave it there. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye. Good day. And with a little bit of heartache, I have decided that these cucumbers and these tomato plants are going to come out. The cucumbers aren't really forming. They are outside for us, but not inside. And the tomatoes down here are just not going to do anything. In fact, I've noticed we've got some blight down here. So yes, and also we've got Babs and Babs 2 in here, so they're coming out as well, sadly. We'll give melons another go next year, maybe. But I've made that decision because I would like to have more carrots for our winter months, and I can use this bed quite happily for growing carrots over the coming months. So I'm going to whip these out and sow Autumn King carrots in exactly the same way as I sowed the turnips earlier in the week. So I will clear this bed, make drills with my hand trowel, and then I'll sow the carrot seed into those drills and then just cover them over. Obviously, because these are in a polytunnel, or the carrots will be in a polytunnel, these will need to be watered over the winter months. What I am noticing is down there, big slug, there, big slug. So it's likely, I think, that once I have sown the carrots, I will put some organic slug pellets down. The polytunnel is largely a closed environment, and it's certainly closed at night now. So I'm not expecting hedgehogs to come in here. Because we do have hedgehogs, you can't see them, but we have hedgehogs at the back through there. So we do need to be careful. But yes, I'm just going to crack on now, put those 2 slugs into the compost heap and take these cucumber plants and these tomato plant out. I think I'll also take the rocket out at the back. The whole thing needs a tidy. Whether I'll get onto that today or not, I'm not sure. Right, stop talking, Paul, and crack on. that's the Autumn King carrot sown. This bed is 2.4 meters long, so that's 3 rows of 2.4 meters of sown Autumn King carrots. At the back over there, we had rocket in, and I've cut that down to the ground because it was going to seed, and I've given it a water, so hopefully that will come back. We just go down there, and you see Mr. Frog, little Mr. Frog there, just to the left of that post. Bless. And there are still plenty of little slugs in here, I think, so that frog will be fine. And I've given this side a cursory tidy. In fact, quite a tidy. Enough of a tidy for me to be happy with what I have done, at least. I'm really glad to have got those carrots sown, the Autumn King carrots. So once I'd sown them in the drills, I decided that I would water the drills before I put the compost back on top. So I did that, and then I put the compost back on top, and then I watered everything again. I also leveled the area before I watered it a final time, because you don't want to have puddles of water, particularly when we're going into the winter months in a polytunnel. Obviously, in a polytunnel, we're going to need to water over the winter months because that compost needs to stay moist. But what we don't want is we don't want puddles in there. So fingers crossed. And hopefully we will be eating those early sort of February, maybe March, April next year. Fingers crossed. In fact, most probably eating them at the same time as we're sowing for next year, as we did this year. And then I did that poly tidy, which I hadn't expected to do. But when I got there, my head just went, you know what, Paul, get on and just tidy this up a bit. And next week, it's going to be this shed. This shed needs tidying as well. So I will get on with that at some point this week. But I think this week, this coming week, is going to be very much about tidying, because I feel a bit disconnected from the plot at the moment. I was speaking to one of our plot neighbours, and we were chatting about this, and we both feel a little discombobulated at the moment. And I certainly feel a little disconnected from the plot. And I don't think that's because I haven't been down here. I think it's because of the growing year that we've had, and the ups and the downs that we've had as well. And yeah, I can't really put my finger on it. I did have a dream the other night. I think we might have mentioned this in Sunday chat, but I had a dream the other night that I finished off the perennial bed at the front. And then instead of bringing the tools that I use, the fork and the spade and the rake, back into the shed, I took them to the gate, and I put them into a removal van and got into the van, and Richard and I drove off. Isn't that bizarre? Is that a premonition? I don't know. Will it get to the point of us finishing that perennial bed and then making a move? Who knows? But it's, you know, there are things that are playing on my mind, and I need to just prioritize things, really. And I don't just mean prioritize things here at the plot. I mean prioritize things in life, you know, because there are things that are more important than weeding a bed, or more important than strimming the grass again. But at the same time as I say that, strimming the grass, strimming the grass and weeding the beds is part of what we need to do as allotmenteers. And I think we'll come on to more of that maybe as we go through September, which is only just over a week away now. I can't believe it. Where have those 8 months of this year gone? And for me, the 11 months of of what I consider our growing year, which is October to September, which I know some of you find really quite bizarre, but maybe I'm a little bizarre. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have a good week wherever you are, on Planet Vegetaria or on YouTube. I'll see you with regular uploads on Planet Vegetaria if you're on that, or I'll see you next week for another week at the plot on YouTube. See you then. Bye.